This episode is brought to you by RAYCON. Ready for a sequel that's better than the original? RAYCON's fan favorite everyday earbuds classic are back with an upgrade, now featuring active noise cancellation. RAYCONs offer top-tier audio quality you can bring with you wherever you go, with 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. So whether you're playing your favorite tunes, making phone calls, or listening to this podcast, RAYCONs are the best way to do it. Go to buyraycon.com/command to get 20% off the everyday earbuds classic. That's buyraycon.com/command.
Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Weeks.
How's it? I'm Jimmy Wong.
And you know what? Commander sucks.
Sometimes. A lot.
Today, we are going to start a series where we talk about all of the times that Commander does suck.
Yep.
Often emotionally. We're going to talk about how to make it suck less and why we love Commander anyway, of course.
Yes. All the episodes won't be in a row, but they'll be split over time. And hopefully each of them will be standalone. And ideally, you listen to it and you improve your Commander experience from both a social, gameplay, community, etc. aspect.
Yeah, I mean, Commander's a game, so you want it to be fun. And I feel like there's a lot of things that we don't really talk about. It's like why it's so hard for a Commander game to feel like a good game.
Yeah.
Why do I feel bad when I lose? Why do I feel bad even when I win? There's a lot of different social problems that come with a social format like Commander. So we're going to get into them. But this episode is specifically about expectations.
Great expectations.
Yeah.
Not the novel, just expectations.
But also the novel.
Also the novel, yeah.
Just because we've got a lot to say.
Yes.
So I think this is a big thing to talk about because when you don't play a ton of Commander, you really look forward to that game night. Mm-hmm. Like when I was only playing Commander weekly, every Thursday, I was like, today I get to play Commander.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be really specific about what decks I bring. And if I've got a new deck, I'm very excited. And you just put all of this sort of hopes and dreams into this night every week.
Yeah, you look forward to game nights. For a lot of players, too, this is their only chance to really take a load off.
Yeah.
Maybe they're really busy at work or they have to travel far to get to their LGS or friend's house. And maybe it's not even weekly. It could be monthly.
Absolutely.
I know people that don't play Commander, they play it 4 times a year. And so the pressure is on when it is focused on a single thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the night that we get to play. I've been looking forward to this for so long, etc.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like you don't get to play that many games when you sit down. So there's a lot that feels like it's riding on each game. And you expect it to be Commander at its best, right? You expect big laughs and cool plays and a neat balanced game with a lot of back and forth. But often when you put that amount of emotional pressure, amount of emotional expectation onto the game, you can walk away feeling salty or disappointed.
Yeah. It's like before you go
bored
to see a movie and all you've heard is every single one of your friends telling you how you're going to love it. It's the best movie ever. It's the best movie this year, etc. It's the best version of this superhero I've ever seen. And you go in with, again, just a whole boatload of other thoughts and opinions and feelings and expectations. And then inevitably, you're going to walk away some level of mismatch.
Yeah.
So
and it's a bummer. It feels bad. And you're like, why did
bad.
I go to see this movie and I feel worse after?
Yeah, right.
I spent my precious free time.
I want to go rant about it now. I want to, there's something else that I have to project outwards. I'm unresolved.
Yeah. So I think we set a lot of expectations that are really high for Commander games. And often they're not expectations that the average game can live up to.
Yeah.
So totally. I want to just start this episode by talking about what a good game looks like the way that we would describe the perfect Commander game.
When it finishes, whether you win or lose or however long it took you, wow, that was a really great game. I feel good.
And this one I feel was pretty subjective. So I put this out to people on X and on Bluesky, and I got a lot of different answers. A lot of them had to talk about, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of them had to do with balance, like deck power balance, where it feels like, every deck was doing roughly about the same thing.
Yeah, no one took over the game in a way that was unfun for other players.
The games are about 90 minutes was a thing that people mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
So long enough where it feels like it's got an arc to it, but short enough that you can get another game in. The players are around the same experience, so more balanced type of discussion. There was a lot of call out to like back and forth sort of swingy plays where it's like you were in control and then I wasn't good.
Yeah,
and
King of the Hill.
It's a King of the Hill story where it's not just one person that dominates the table. It is a shared experience.
Cool surprising plays.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when you did that was so crazy when you flipped X off of Chaos Warp and it changed the whole thing.
Yeah, I've never seen stuff like that
Yeah.
before. And then just like fun social moments. So like good vibes, good chatter. You get to joke around while you're playing was a thing that got mentioned a lot. But I think above like all of that other stuff, people mentioned, everybody gets to do the thing.
The Thing. The Thing.
The Thing.
Now that's a good movie.
The Thing. Let's watch The Thing.
Let's watch The Thing. Okay, so
and now John Carpenter's The Thing.
What is The Thing? Well, you'll find out in this epic story.
They don't really know, actually.
Yeah, that's true. And do we even know what The Thing is?
Yeah, I mean, so The Thing is sort of this vague concept that gets thrown around in Commander a lot.
All the time.
Right? Where
Yeah.
it's just like, the thing is just showcasing
We say it on this show all the time.
all the time.
Yeah. My deck got to do The Thing.
It was great. And like, I designed it to do this thing, and there it was,
And
The
it did
Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
And so I wanted to ask people, I was like, okay, if you were going to explain The Thing to
Someone else.
to someone who's never played Commander before, how would you describe it? And I had a couple of good answers from Bluesky, so we're going to use some quotes from followers. The first one was just executing your game plan, having the board state, the play sequence you imagined when building your deck.
Okay.
So when you pick a commander out, when you put your deck together, when you're goldfishing the thing you're aiming for. That was by Fife Anor on Bluesky.
I like this one from Gaming Gabe,
Yeah.
which is, you know how Pinky and the Brain have an elaborate plan every night to try and take over the world? It's like that. It's also like that in that it usually fails.
This says a lot about Gabe.
Yeah.
That we're building like very ambitious decks, like
Yeah.
complicated machines to try and achieve the impossible.
And you're about to pull it off, and then, of course, something comes in and messes it all up, and yeah, you know what? I still kind of did the thing.
Yeah. Finally, HoppyChris mentioned, I think it's the answer to what does your deck do? Because most people will have an answer for that.
Okay.
Just, what does it do?
Aristocrats, drain everyone out.
Yeah.
Make a combo go infinite. Et
Yeah,
cetera.
Voltron, make a big thing and hit you with it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, it varies from deck to deck. The answer for the thing for one deck is going to be completely different for the thing for another deck.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like the deck designer gets to decide what that thing is, which makes it a highly variable entity.
Yeah, and not even necessarily the designer. You could just be the player.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? You could take someone else's deck or just copy a deck list off game nights or whatever, play it, and go like, cool, I did the thing. And that was the thing that I think was originally the intention maybe of the designer. Or you can maybe even find the thing as you play it has nothing to do with what the deck was supposed to do, but had something else in it, right? Because the thing is very variable.
Yeah. I mean, some things are way more complicated than others, much harder to achieve, much easier to disrupt usually, if that is the case. So you're like, first I do this, and then I do this, and then I do that, and that's the thing.
That's the thing. And then someone removes one thing out of your thing.
You're
and then
like, hey.
the thing is now not working.
I didn't get to do the thing.
Some decks' things are just being really uber powerful. You know, a lot of people that play Bracket 4 and stuff. Their
Yeah.
thing is just, I'm going to storm off and I'm going to have an insane board state by turn 3.
Yeah, my thing is storming off.
Yeah, my
That's a
thing
very dangerous thing.
Yeah, my thing is winning harder than everyone else and hopefully closing it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting point that we'll get into a little bit later is like, sometimes people define the thing as this object that's so far down the line that it's like, if you do the thing, you win the game.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is just winning.
The thing is winning.
Yeah.
Some people's things are very silly. My AD.
Yeah.
Your partner.
Ugh.
His thing is always weird and funky and goofy.
I want to
and-
radiate something.
Yeah. I want to play Warp World.
Yeah. Twice.
Twice.
Yeah, it can be like I have my Norin stickers deck is I want to get a sticker on Norin. If it wins the game, great.
Great.
If not, I'm going to be busy trying to catch this little
stickers,
human
yeah.
with a sticker. But yeah, I do think that there's this misconception that like the thing is just like when I win the game. When I get to the place where I could win the game on the next turn.
Right, yeah.
And that is like, that's a very high bar for every player at the table to meet.
to all want to win and satisfy the thing if it's tied to winning, or just get the thing to happen and also have the game end in a satisfactory way.
Yeah, I mean, we had so many people be like, in order to have a good game, everybody does the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing it's like these highly complicated contraptions. It can be this very powerful stuff. It can be, and it's defined by each player individually.
Yeah, and many times the things often directly oppose one another. One person doing the thing will stop someone else's thing. Yeah, so it's actually like this weird, interesting, like golden thread in the middle of the table that everyone's trying to grab at. But sometimes in the process of grabbing it, you need to shove someone else out of the way. Or your thing just doesn't allow for multiple people to have it at the same time, right? So there's a lot that's going on with just this very simple idea that we say so often, but the complexity of it's quite deep.
Yeah, and it's like with Commander, often we build our own decks or we build decks that really appeal to us. So the thing can be this sort of precious item where you're like, oh, if only I can have the thing, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
If like it's the reason, like I built this deck to do this thing, to have these 2 cards in play so I can do this cool thing that I'm excited about. It's the reason I got in my car today. It's the reason I got dressed for game night.
It's the reason I spent a lot of money. And time putting a deck together, goldfishing it, or just seeing it in play on another show or whatever and getting excited because I want to do something similar.
Yeah. It's the thing is this strange like Commander term that we use to sort of talk about sharing spotlight, I think, is the best way to describe it. Yeah. It doesn't appear in other formats. There's not like modern players being like, I got to do the thing.
Yeah, no,
I still lost, but that's okay.
1v1, it's like the thing is very much winning the game.
The thing is winning the game. Yeah. It's much more simplified. You have a strategy, but not necessarily like
you're playing to win. You're not playing to lose. Sometimes in Commanders you do play to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like the thing is part of the reason why Commander can be so disappointing.
Oh, yeah.
I like having...
It's at the core of it, for sure.
Where you're just desperate for this one thing that everybody else at the table is trying to keep you from.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the thing could be one of Commander's greatest problems.
And greatest assets, too. Being able to do the thing in a game is really satisfying.
Yeah.
And not being able to. I like what you said about sharing the spotlight. It's like there was a talent show and 4 people were going up to perform, but the first person went up and they took 40 minutes out of the 50 minutes that were allotted, and everyone else only had 2 minutes to do their thing.
Yeah.
And then the next person did a thing that destroyed the stage, so that the next person couldn't do that, right? So it's a very strange thing, but it is true, and it is the thing.
Yeah.
And it's there.
We're going to get into why the thing can be potentially problematic. But if you're enjoying this conversation, if you've enjoyed episodes that we've put out before, you can support the show by using our affiliate links, going over to cardkingdom.com/command. We're buying a lot of cards. We're building for a lot of things. Luckily, Card Kingdom has a ton of them in stock, so you can buy as many of the cards you're looking for in one place.
Yeah. And of course, when you get those cards, maybe your thing is sleeving them up and keeping them looking nice and shiny in your collection at ultrapro.com/command. Use that affiliate link. They always have some amazing deals. They also have the latest art and sleeves and Apex sleeve designs from each of the sets that just came out. Edge of Eternities, Final Fantasy, you name it. ultrapro.com/command.
And you can support us directly by going to patreon.com/command-zone. We actually did a really cool project recently.
Yes, the biggest thing we've ever done in the history of this channel.
It was a huge project.
An original Magic the Gathering film. A movie, a magic movie, a 10-minute short film called In Space, called Rise of the Deckmasters.
It was so fun.
So fun, and this is out, please pause this video right now, go to the show notes and check it out. It'll take 10 minutes of your time, and it would really make us so happy because not many people have seen it yet. It wasn't, uploaded. It doesn't look like a normal upload that we have. So check it out in the show notes. All I'll say is that it's epic. Rachel's in cool costume the whole time.
So are you?
Yeah, I'm a Jedi. Josh is a Star Trek person.
I'm an alien.
Yeah, we make a ton of in-universe jokes. We joke about universes beyond. It's filled with magic little things the whole time.
Yeah, and this wasn't a sponsored thing. We did this just with our own money from patrons and supporters and stuff over the years to make something that we thought would be cool and the community would like. So go check that out. You can support that project and projects like this one by joining our Patreon, of course.
Yep.
There's other cool perks, but hopefully just us making cool things and getting them out to you is incentive enough.
Yeah.
But in case you don't need that, we do shout out one lucky patron
every single episode.
And this one is dedicated to
Brenton Barber.
Brenton, you rock.
You rock.
All right.
Let's zoom out for a little bit here. Take a look at a little macro lens view of why do we play Magic, more specifically Commander. And I like the challenge that you put in here, which is avoiding the term fun.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. There's also a fun challenge I used to do, where you'd go to Subway and you try to place your whole order without saying the word or Nearly impossible.
Impossible.
So,
as is this one.
Yeah.
I think if you ask people, like the random person on the street, why do you play Commander? And they're like, it's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
I'm just here to play.
I want to have fun.
I'm here to have fun. I hate when people use the term fun in their Rule Zero conversation, in their pregame I'm just here to have fun and like do my thing.
Yeah,
and you're like, that's nothing.
That means nothing. And so often you hear that story end up in like, and then they took a 30-minute turn and went infinite, and that was fun for them.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. That didn't help.
It didn't actually help. So I wanted to talk about, this like, what emotions are we trying to get out of this hobby? And like sort of why, like setting aside the thing that we've been talking about a lot here.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people want different things.
Oh, totally. And I think for the sake of this conversation too, the challenge for me is to not use the term you or we.
Sure.
To really just keep it directly on. And I will talk about things that generally I've heard other players love, but I think it's most powerful if it comes from me, from direct experience.
Yeah.
So talking about using I as much as possible. And I think that will be helpful as well when you are talking about why you might love the game, to instead saying like, well, they did that and they like that, but think about what do I like? And that way you'll actually be more empowered too when you get into game nights to understand why you're there for the thing.
Yeah. I would say something that I like getting out of Commander is showing off a cool thing I made.
Yeah.
So usually it's like a validation of that I made something interesting and powerful and cool out of like bits and pieces around the office.
Yeah, deck building is a huge strength of yours, I would say. And I like getting a compliment from you about my deck building.
Yeah.
That's how much your thing impacts my thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of it. I like the creativity of Commander, I think, is one of the biggest things that players are drawn to.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, when I don't play a lot of other formats because I really like that I can build something and bring it to the table and see how it does.
Yeah. For me, it's not just that. I also like being validated about my collection.
Sure.
It's something I put a lot of time and money into. I've been collecting for a huge amount of time. I love playing a card that makes people go, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I got this here, or I opened this at this thing then. And having to be able to share that part, because oftentimes, again, competitive Magic, no one cares really if your card is foil or not. Only if it's like making your deck
Except
bend.
for Andrea Mengucci.
Yeah. Or if it's like marking your deck in a way that's akin to cheating, right?
Yeah.
So, but for me, a huge part of the game is the validation of just my collection and how I can make a deck look cool and how I feel too playing a cool version out of my hand.
Yeah. I know when I play Commander, I want to feel smart. I want to learn and I want to solve a problem. And at the end of it, I want to feel like, I did it. Like I figured out how to accomplish what I was trying to do.
Yeah. I don't like doing homework for school, or I didn't like doing homework for school, but I do like doing homework at the table.
Yeah.
Which is like,
love the math.
Yeah. What is going to happen here if I do this? Oh, I got to make sure I don't do that because of that thing on Josh's board. Okay. I'm going to figure this out. And it's a fun challenge or a problem to solve. It's a similar reason as to why I really like rock climbing. You look at a route on the wall and you go, how am I going to get my body on that wall all the way to the top?
Sure.
Magic's like, how am I going to play with this hand against this table to get what I'm looking for?
Absolutely. I think the problem solving is a big part of it.
Yeah. I'm not a very competitive person, but I do enjoy the competitive aspect that Commander can sometimes get to. And then being able to have a game where it is more competitive. Like we just had a game night recently and everyone at the table was a very seasoned, very intelligent player. And it just ended up being a really fun game because it was at that level.
Yeah.
But sometimes I love just goofing off with people and not playing competitively at all. So it can vary in that world for me.
Absolutely. I think that's like part of the trick of Commander is like on one side of it, a lot of us are there to see companionship, community.
Yeah, for sure.
To find other people that play this game, to laugh and make friends.
Yeah, drink a beer, have a laugh, whatever it is, right?
But there's this other side of it that is like, well, I want to play better than you. Like I want to figure out how to beat you in this way.
Yeah.
And that those two forces can be at odds if they are imbalanced in the players at the table. Like if there's people that are more on the competitive side, and I don't mean EDH, I just mean like making optimal plays in order to win the game. So casting a board wipe when we need a board wipe regardless of if
Right.
it's going to make the game really long or something like that.
Yeah, or even making the tough decision to go fetch for a land and slow down something they else wanted to do just to make sure they hit their land drops, right? Like small micro decisions like that.
Yeah,
that end up
killing the
impacting.
player who's behind.
Right.
Because they're a free kill and it's easier to remove a player rather than like letting that person try and catch up.
Yeah.
Like that's a big difference between people who were there to hang out and people who were there to actually win the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you're there to hang out and you're playing against someone that's not there to hang out in that way, then obviously those kind of decisions will make you unhappy. And then the person that's there to play competitively will also not be happy if someone that's there to hang out does something that messes with their plans in a way. That
Absolutely.
goes against, right? So they're kind of at odds, and it's hard to sometimes reconcile that.
Like, why would you make that play? That's not a good play for you. It's
and
like,
then
it was
the other
funny.
player's like, it was funny and it was fun, and that's my thing, right?
Right.
And so the things, again, they can clash with each other quite a bit there.
Yeah, I think there's a huge everybody comes to the table with different expectations of this game, with different things that they want to leave the table with.
Yeah.
And there are moments that are at odds because Commander players aren't all there for the same reason, right?
Oh, of course
we're not
humans. We're all not all necessarily here for the same reason, right?
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
it's very difficult to even. Your friend group is carefully fostered over a long time, or my friend group specifically has been very carefully fostered over 15 years in LA, right? There are some people I just, I don't vibe with them, so I don't hang out with them. Commander, you might sit down at the table and it's not like you've been friends or I've been friends with any of these people for any amount longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it can be very difficult in that world.
I would also say that like even inside of a friend group, like if you sit down and like two people are there mostly to chit chat and do silly things and one person is there to like test their machine.
Yeah.
Like that's a very different desire that are absolutely can coexist in the same playgroup. You have different expectations of like what you want out of this game.
Yeah, it could be that like everyone is playing their silly decks and I'm trying to test a new thing out. So I have a very specific want out of a game, different than what the group might want. Something I wanted to talk about very briefly is I said golden thread earlier in this conversation, but I also call it the golden moment. So I think in most gamers' experiences, mine specifically, I'll tell about what mine is, there is a point in time and a moment that happens usually very early on in the gaming experience that comes to define for a long time, maybe even the rest of the gaming career, what the thing is to that person.
Sure.
So for me, when I was playing World of Warcraft obsessively in like high school, that moment was like the first time I was in a 5-person party and we were doing a very difficult dungeon. And it was just like beating the final boss just by the skin of your teeth, barely making it through, everyone screaming on Ventrilo or voice chat. And then when it finally happens, there's just exaltation of the group going like, oh my God, we did it. There's only one person left alive. And then you click the loot and you do the whole thing, right? And that is all tied into me of like, oh wow, I love that feeling. And I'm going to be chasing that feeling now for maybe the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And for someone, that feeling could be, oh, I hit Masters, or like I hit Mythic, or I got to a very specific, difficult, competitive thing that took me a long time for.
Yeah.
Some players, it could be completely solo. Some players, it's with a group. So I think if you think about what that moment is for you, it very well could be tied deeply into what the thing is as well.
Yeah, like what you're actually trying to get out of it is that companionship and that like sort of excitement.
Yeah, group excitement.
And
holy
overcoming.
crap, we did something as a party.
Yeah.
And then, or like, Leroy Jenkins is a great example too of like, actually no one won in that scenario, but it became a moment that people think about and go, all right, at least I think about and go like, man, I would love to be Leroy once in my life. That I can't imagine the high of just doing that, and then so it's different for everyone. But I would say in my experience, that moment is very much has defined a lot of sort of like why I like games.
Yeah. And I mean, you sit down at a table and you bring all of that baggage, and you remember that there's 3 players at the table that also have their own baggage and their desires and goals and like how they want to feel at the end of this.
Yeah, maybe luggage more than baggage.
Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah.
Not the baggage has a lot of baggage.
Yeah. Your baggage has a little bag on it and carrying it.
Like a Labubu with a bag.
Yeah. Maybe we should show a screenshot of Rachel's Labubu with a little deck holder and everything. Okay.
But yeah, the average game is not going to give every player at the table that moment. right?
Yeah.
Like there's 4 different players with 4 different moments. You play a game of Commander. Not everybody's going to walk away from that game saying like, I achieved my golden thing. And if it happens, it's like this once in a lifetime moment where you're like, wow, that was one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that like that cannot be the bar for you enjoying your hobby.
Yes.
Is all 4 players achieving this one
or getting close to their moment that they're just chasing that high of. Yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It may be a way for you to have a goal. Yeah, I want to get to that point occasionally or eventually or as a sum whole total. If you took my entire Commander experience, it is that thing. But on a game-by-game, night-by-night basis, it is, in a lot of ways, untenable and unsustainable.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you sit down at a table with somebody and you're like, okay, I'm here to show off my creative deck. Like, I built this sticker deck. I think it's really cool. And somebody else came to, like, really puzzle through something specific. And my garbage is not, like, part of their vision of what it is. Those are mismatched expectations. That's not even a mismatched power level thing. Yeah. That's not a mismatched experience level thing. That's just like, hey, we just want different things out of this, and clearly those things are not going to come from the same game.
Yeah, and a big point here too is that none of this is quote unquote wrong.
No
one's in the wrong here. Just because someone else's expectations of something are different than yours, you do share the commonality of we are all here to play Commander, but there's nothing wrong with wanting something necessarily. What we're really focusing on is just what happens when I bring in something to a game that is not going to necessarily fold in well to what may potentially happen. And then a little bit of accountability of understanding where can I adjust my own world and my own desires to provide me with the happiest outcome.
Right.
Or at least the most satisfying.
Yeah.
But not to also go in and think, oh man, what I wanted to do there was wrong. Because right and wrong in this scenario doesn't actually give us, I think, a beneficial lens to look at this from, right? Nothing is necessarily good or bad either, right? We're all very unique human individuals that have incredibly unique desires and wants. So understanding it, I think, a little bit better from that lens as well. If you've been, at any point in this conversation, if I've said something that made you go, oh man, I must be wrong about something, I would pray that you'd be able to erase that part of it and maybe rewrite it in with something else that fits a little bit better.
Absolutely. I mean, this game is full of people that come for different reasons, right? Where it's like, and they have different backgrounds and they have different experience levels. They have different collections. Commander is full of imbalances. In fact, balance is like maybe one of the things we talk about the most when it comes to Commander theory and deck building and power level.
The whole bracket system. Imagine how many man hours have been put into just trying to figure that out.
Yeah. But power imbalance isn't the only imbalance when you sit down at a Commander table. Yeah. There's this expectation imbalance, this desire imbalance that we've been talking about. There's also experience imbalance. Yep. There's financial imbalance. Oh, yeah. Like your deck costs more, you're more invested in this game than I am.
Yeah.
There's just competitiveness. Like how okay are you with walking back plays?
Right.
If somebody is mana screwed, would you let them put a land on top of your on top of their deck?
What's your mulligan rule?
Maybe you have a super lenient mulligan rule. Competitiveness is a huge imbalance.
Yeah. Do you have a house ban rule on certain cards as well? Like how does the rule zero conversation comes in even more here?
So if there's all of these imbalances, there's all of these ways for people not to be a good fit to play against each other. How are you ever supposed to find a good game?
Yeah. Especially when it appears when you watch content, when you hear stories, that everything is just fine and balance is everywhere and you're just not doing a good job finding it.
Yeah, there's this incredible myth that balance is easy
and ubiquitous, and you should be able to find it, and I should be able to get it.
Your opponent should be able to find it, and if they can't, they're wrong and bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of reason I hear stories about people just avoiding LGSs because it is so much more difficult to balance 4 unknowns as opposed to a play group of friends that at least can have some some baseline level of communication of just getting on someone on the same page.
Yeah.
But when you go to an LGS, sometimes it's like, oh, we're not even in the same part of the library.
Absolutely. I mean, And I do think that like a lot of Commander players, especially if they don't play a ton of games, watch a ton of gameplay.
Yeah.
Because that's where I was when I was first starting Commander. I watched tons of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see content creators playing, you're like, oh, what a great game. And they laughed so much and everything, like there was a bunch of back and forth. And that, like I want a game
salty.
like that.
Yeah. All games should be like that.
That's what Commander games are.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like all of the imbalances that we're talking about before power level, experience level, investment level, competitiveness, even expectations, all of those are so much closer together when you're a content creator who's being filmed for a channel.
Yeah.
You know that most of the players who sit down at the table are roughly around the same investment level. We're invested enough to be making content about this game. That's highly invested.
Flying out to a place to do it, or going, to visit someone in another state to play a game with them on camera.
We are likely all experience levels of the same rough level where it's high. Yes, we've experienced enough that we are now teaching people how to play this game.
Yeah, and if the experience level is vastly different, even at these higher levels, we're also playing oftentimes set by the show's tone. We don't want someone to make a blatant onboard mistake. So there are a lot of times where I filmed with lots of different places where it's like, oh crap, I totally missed that you had that blocker. Can I walk it back? And everyone's like, yes, please.
Yeah.
We don't want people screaming at you in the comments or you just looking worse. And this is like a very normal playgroup thing where I'll very often allow people to walk stuff back unless it's very high stakes or whatever, but rarely is it that. So yeah, the competitiveness of the show is also usually set by the show itself. Some shows are more competitive. Some shows are way more casual.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a big like competitiveness difference between our show, between like something like Game Nights and Commander at Home.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like Commander at Home is very laid back. They leave in like a lot of mistakes and table chatter. And Game Nights is a lot more tuned where we want to have the game be as like clear and as close to accurate as possible.
Yeah, because we're trying
legible.
to teach people specifically order of resolution of things and all that stuff. We do shortcut some stuff. Actually, there's a great podcast episode that me, Josh, and Rachel did called "Is Game Night Scripted?" I think is what it's called.
Something like that.
I highly recommend you watch that if you want to understand how we go about things on game nights to make it the way that it is.
Yeah, but the point is, a lot of work is put into that behind the scenes to make it start on a much more even playing field than any game in the wild. At a con or in an LGS or even among friends.
How many hours do you think you and Jamie put into making the decks for Game Nights Live as evenly matched as possible?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Yeah.
I mean,
and how high on the priority list is that specific thing? Is that the decks themselves are all going to play very nicely against each other?
Hugely. For a live show, like the balance is everything.
Right.
Where we like, if we think a player is less experienced than other ones, we want them to practice.
Yeah.
And we'll have them in to make sure that they've got a lot of reps with the deck. Yep. All of the decks are intended to play well against each other, where we're not going to be like, well, this is a Monarch deck, we can't put like a Flyers deck in it because that the Monarch deck really favors the Flyers deck. So we really focus on that kind of thing when that's not possible in a regular pod.
Yeah.
So there's this idea of we must achieve balance. Like the bracket system can help us achieve balance when it's only anything is going to get you in the ballpark. And that's not even answering for all the other things that the bracket system can't consider, which is experience level, financial level, luck. Just somebody has a good draw and somebody has terrible draws.
Yeah. Jimmy misses his land drops, etc.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, like, when we film games, we have a goal of providing entertainment first and foremost.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
A unified goal?
Yeah, and everyone is there for that. And a lot of times when I deck build, I'll send a list to Jamie and he'll go like, yeah, let's not play this card. It's a bit too this. I'm like, you're right. I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to tone these power levels down. Also, a lot of times non-games happen and you don't see those on camera because we don't show them. We go, that was just not great. For instance, Final Fantasy Extra Turns, where Murph played Kuja, and I played Choco, and you played Gogo, and Josh played Joshua. We filmed 2 games. Yep. And the first one just wasn't good enough.
It was boring.
Ended too quickly. And we just went, you know what? We're here to show off brand new Final Fantasy cards. That's the priority. Let's play another game. We came in on another day, refilmed the entire thing, right? So you don't see the games where it isn't so fun and the balance isn't there.
So I just think that like we've been chasing this sort of balanced dragon that is so impossible.
Oh, it's a dragon?
Yeah, it's a balanced dragon.
Sick.
That like where like it can only be a good game if all things are perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen. So how do we get good games if we can't achieve perfect balance?
Well, that is the question of the day. And we're going to try and answer that after we take a quick break to hear from our mid-roll sponsors. Beep boop.
This message is sponsored by RAYCON.
I am Edgar Markov, vomiter of vampires, bane of brackets 2, 3, and 4. But now I am back in this stylish retro frame. In many ways, I am just like my beloved RAYCON Everyday Earbuds Classic. Let us count them. 1. We both deliver top-tier performance in an elegant classic look. 2. I am less pricey post-reprint, and RAYCONs are half the price of other premium brands. 3. The latest version of RAYCON's Everyday Earbuds Classic now features active noise cancellation, so we can both silence the riffraff with a single tap. 4. Everyone loves us. These RAYCONs are my favorite way to blast some Baroque beats while bashing your opponent's body. And with tens of thousands of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star reviews, countless others agree. But let's count them anyway. 1, 2, 3.
Go to buyraycon.com/command to get 20% off the fan favorite Everyday Earbuds Classic. Right now, RAYCON is offering 20% off their Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/command. Sponsored by RAYCON.
Yes, let's go.
Oh, sweet. You're finally playing Marvel Strike Force.
Just started. I found this code 4. It unlocked the entire Fantastic Four team for free.
Nice. That's a great team to get early. They're Fantastic Four.
I just said that.
I was gonna say they're fantastic for the Heroes campaign. Human Torch will really blaze through those early nodes to unlock more characters fast.
And I hear they're releasing a new Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman to tie in with the new movie. So if you max out Torch and the Thing now, you'll be ready to rock as soon as they come out.
Sounds like it's clobbering time.
And don't forget, the original Invisible Woman is still amazing in the late game. Like in Alliance War, you can try pairing her up with Scarlet Witch and Vision. Her psionic shield protects the team and stuns enemies. So Vision's safe to swoop in with his laser. They'll never see it coming.
Because she's invisible.
Sick.
Then there's Mr. Fantastic. It's not a stretch to say he's top tier in Cosmic Crucible. Combine him with the Illuminati, you're going to dominate. His Orbital Assault Ultimate annihilates enemy defense bonuses.
So with one promo code, I've got Mr. Fantastic for Cosmic Crucible, Invisible Woman for War, then Human Torch, and the Thing.
Pretty sweet deal.
I guess that 4 code really was fantastic.
Hey, there you go.
Marvel Strike Force. Click the link in the description to download it now, and for a limited time, use the code 4 to unlock the entire Fantastic Four team for free.
Hail, fellow thrill seekers! It is I, White Plume Adventurer, explorer of dungeons and breaker of formats. Recently, I've discovered a way to venture without needing to bring extra Undercity tokens for the whole table. Audible! Audible is your secret entrance to whole new worlds of fantasy, adventure, horror, and more. Get ready to forge a relationship with your new favorite story among the vast arena of literature as you draw from Audible's massive archive of audiobooks. And then, I guess, ascend to the throne of the Dead 3. Okay, the last Undercity room is hard, but you get it! I just completed Dungeon Crawler Carl, a thrilling romp that had me fully enthralled from the first word. Plus, Audible has over 1 million audiobooks, podcasts, and originals, including new releases. So take the initiative and try Audible today!
Start listening and discover what's beyond the edge of your seat. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days and dive into a world of new thrills.
Visit audible.com/command or text command to 500-500. That's audible.com/command or text command to 500-500.
All right, my new deck list is complete. Now, let's see which cards I don't already own and buy them.
Wait, how'd you do that without going through 1 million boxes?
Oh, I just use ARCHIDEKT. They make it super easy to upload and manage your collection. Then, when you're done brewing a deck, you can sort it by collection status to see what you already have.
So this group is just cards you don't own?
Yep, I just click buy this stack, and it takes me right to Card Kingdom.
Whoa.
ARCHIDEKT is the best place to browse, brew, and playtest commander decks. Just go to archidekt.com/command zone to get started.
That's ARCHIDEKT.com/command zone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are talking about expectations in Commander and how they can kind of be the doom of us all.
The devil.
So I want to go back and talk about the Thing. this idea of like achieving my deck's plan in every game,
or my plan as a player.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you decide brings you the optimal amount of happiness as a result of a game.
Yeah, I think that like again, when we ask the people what makes for a good game, most people said everybody gets to do the mechanical thing their deck wants to do.
Yeah, it seems like a very agreed upon general thing. Your deck does the thing, specifically your deck.
Yes. So, and I think we've established that it's very difficult to achieve the level of balance for all decks to do the thing to the degree that the player is happy.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of, we talked about all the different variables. There's a lot of pitfalls you have to dodge. Sometimes other players have to let you do the thing for your deck to do the thing, right?
And it's very hard to actually accomplish all 4 players achieving the thing. And I just think that like that cannot be the bar for a good game of Commander. We can't set this bar at this very impossibly high level.
Yeah. And to the degree too, right? Where if you don't care about the other people at the table and you just want to do your thing, you're still setting a bar that's very difficult, because if everyone has that same mentality going in, it's going to be very hard to do.
Yeah.
Where everyone says, I don't care if anyone else does the thing, I just want to do my thing, and that's enough. That will not also really work out if all 4 players have that same thought.
Yeah,
mindset.
It won't necessarily make for a good game. And I just think you can't set a high bar for you to enjoy your hobby.
Yeah.
Is the goal. Like if you do Commander to feel relaxed and feel fun and hang out with your friends, you can't set this like golden game standard as your way of enjoying it. So I want to talk about like,
you also can't set no standard, by the way. There should be something there, but we're just saying it can't be so freaking up here that it's,
I think we think about this like
you're setting a PR every time you play a game.
There's a lot of players who say stuff like, it doesn't matter, like I'm not here to win. I don't care if I win. I just want to do my thing.
Right.
And I think that statement feels really reasonable. But I think even that is too high. It sets you up for disappointment if you are faced with any number of adversities in our game. Like if you don't draw well. Yeah, you flood, you get screwed. You're like another player gets very lucky and has a great hand, and you don't get to the part of the game where your deck does the thing.
Yeah, they just go infinite too quickly, or they do something that just hoses your strategy. They just happen to have the thing that, like you're playing a graveyard deck and their commander exiles cards out of your graveyard.
Yeah, maybe they actively disrupt you like that. Like you're like, I came to do the thing, but this deck keeps picking apart my stuff.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's not even on purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens incidentally as a result of the table state.
And like, or even just like your deck didn't work because it's not built well yet. It's new. It is missing the pieces that like, or will actually bring it together. You're just learning about it. So there's all of these things that can get in the way of the thing.
Yeah. Also, your thing could be very easily disruptible.
Yes.
Right? If your deck's the thing is something that one path to exile takes care of, then the thing, it's tough to say, I just want to have fun and do the thing. I don't care if I win, because, some things are more resilient. Some things are not.
Yeah. And you have set the bar for your own thing. So I don't get to even decide at what point, like you've decided what level that you're going to be happy at. And if it's anything lower than that, then suddenly you're unhappy or unsatisfied with that game.
Yeah.
And I do think it puts your opponents in this kind of weird position where if you say like, all I want to do is for my deck to do exactly what I want it to do, even if I don't win, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because now, does that make your opponent the bad guy for disrupting the thing?
Yeah.
For removing your commander?
Are they responsible for your own happiness as a result? Because this is a social game and there's pressures that you can put on other people as a player. And I've had this happen to me many times, actually, where you're kind of guilted into letting someone else do the thing, and then it ruins your ability to do the thing, or it hampers it in such a way where you go, well, why did I not just stop that? Because I would feel bad that they're going to feel bad, and I don't want to like not play with them again in the future, right? So that is, I think, a very common thing that happens, especially for like newer players and players that you don't want to actively scare out of the format by just brutally stopping their thing,
Yeah.
even though it is actively now hurting your own happiness.
I played this game with it was in a game store. It was me and my partner AD, and then it was a man and his partner who was new, and she was playing a deck that he had built for her, which was Joda the Unifier.
Okay.
Which was wild, and
Easy
it was
to keep track of.
Joda had just come out, so
Okay.
it was pretty new, and I hadn't played it against it yet, but I knew it was pretty powerful, and I knew she was a new player.
Yeah.
And she cast Joda, and when he untapped, her partner immediately killed it. Immediately.
Oh no.
Immediately killed Joda. Like she played fifth land, killed Joda. And I was like, whoa. What like
Yeah, big time whoa.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, she's getting in the way of her doing the thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's new to Magic, leave her alone.
Yeah, and you built the deck for her.
You built the deck. Like, what happened? And then on the next turn, she ramped. And on the turn after that, she played
Played
Joda
again.
and won the game.
Okay, so
And it was this crazy moment where I was such a precious commander player, being like, don't get in the
Yeah,
way of her doing her thing. And he was like, I have to. Or she's gonna win the game.
Yeah.
Because that's how Joda works.
Incredible.
It was this
Incredible.
It was this crazy game where I was like, well, he was right.
Yeah, he was right.
But I was the one who was just like blown away by what had happened because I was being really precious about like how she felt in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's a situation that we get into a lot where you're like, that's a new deck, so I'm not going to disrupt you. I'm going to let you do whatever the thing you've defined the thing to be, and we're all going to lose the game. And then you don't get any information about how your deck actually works because everybody just sort of rolls out the red carpet for your new deck.
That's so funny because I would say I've had a lot of experience playing with new players. And oftentimes, it's not the new players that get salty when their commander gets instantly
they don't
removed.
care.
They just go, that's what happens in this game.
Yeah.
It's the veteran players
Mm-hmm.
where you sense a lot more of that salt from. And oftentimes, the pressure from a veteran player also comes with years and years of doing that thing.
Right.
Which is so interesting because for me, I've done a lot of personal self-development. I've taken a lot of courses. I've gone to workshops and stuff about it. And the question that came up for me when I was thinking about this is like, what kind of situation do I put myself in when I start to make other people accountable for my own happiness?
Yeah.
And that situation is not one I would ever like to put myself in because it completely disempowers me in a lot of ways by saying you are the reason whether or not I'm happy or not me. I'm not making the decision anymore. It's now your fault.
Yeah.
And removing the accountability in that situation can be very dangerous, I think, especially when it comes to hobbies and passions.
Absolutely. I think this idea that the thing is our ultimate goal and we have to be able to achieve this thing or we're not going to feel good sets you up for this weird situation that now, like, if everybody does the thing and that's what makes a good game, if I remove something before the thing happens, does that make me responsible for this being a bad game? Like, have I ruined the vibes by like throwing a removal spell at a commander that like I know is going to be the problem?
Yeah.
Or am I supposed to be permissive and allow a commander that I know is going to be a problem? Like one I was thinking about was like an Omnath Locus of Rage.
Oh, right.
Like if they get an Omnath down and they get a ton of elementals in play, like I know I'm supposed to remove Omnath the moment they crack that fetch, the moment I have priority.
Yeah.
But is it rude?
Yeah. It's like when Jake plays his Omnath clone deck and you're like, I'll let him clone it once. And it's like, well, as a result, you've now lost the game.
You lose the game.
You absolutely lose the game. Yeah.
And it's this strange thing where you're like, sometimes, like depending on the day, sometimes I'm like, oh, I want them to have their fun too.
Sure.
And I have less fun because of it. And some days I remove it and then I'll feel bad after because I'm like, I just like totally ruined the game for this person. And I feel like that emotional part of Commander is the thing that I've really struggled with the most, is my responsibility for other people's feelings at the table. Like, I don't want to build a deck that actively harms people's fun. I don't want to build a highly restrictive deck. I don't want to build a deck that like makes sure nobody can do anything. I want a proactive deck.
Very few of us are stacks players.
Yeah, that's not like I'll play some amount of stacks, but I'm not here to make sure that like the graveyard player has no graveyard ever.
Yeah.
But I do want to be able to disrupt my opponents, because I do think that makes for a little bit of a better game where it's like, oh, you were setting up, so I set you back, and then you set me back, and it was this tempo swings that are like, that's the interesting part of Commander, I think, is like how to deploy a removal spell in the right way to sort of give yourself the best advantage. I think that's really interesting and makes Commander really fun to play. But when there's this fear behind firing off disruption that your opponent's going to get upset, your opponent's going to feel worse because you've stopped them from this golden thread. I just feel like somebody winds up hurt in that.
Yeah, and it's tough to pinpoint who exactly needs to be the most accountable or who needs to shift a mindset for this not to happen. Because it's not like we arrived at this conclusion on day one. You know, we are almost 2 decades into this format existing.
Yeah.
And as a result of many, many years of people playing it, this has now become an ingrained thing to the degree where it's like, I do hold some responsibility for the table's fun at a Commander game.
You do.
You do. And it's impossible to, and I would say it's very difficult to say that you hold no responsibility, because then you get into the situations where you are actively, or I am actively just making it unfun for everyone else. Because I'm just play stacks or whatever it is. So I think like it's interesting because you are accountable, and at the same time you're not accountable, and at the same time you are accountable, and other players also have to recognize what their level of accountability is.
Right.
And there's just tons of these tiny little micro decisions that oftentimes I just don't want to think about it at all, because my thing is just not having to turn on that part of my brain. I came to this table to have fun, not worry about my emotions and how other people's emotions are being affected by my actions and vice versa.
Yeah. So what do you do?
What do you do?
I mean,
quit Commander.
But that's like Commander when it's at its best is so incredibly fun, and there's such a great community around it, and the competition feels incredible, and you're like, we've set up this really weird thing, and I've never done this before. But in the pursuit of that, I feel like we've sort of lost the thread because we're like, oh, what made that fun was everybody did exactly what they wanted, and it was like, no, what made that fun is everybody was involved in each other. Everybody like it was a little bit invested in this and like had a piece of tearing that apart.
Everyone
and
had agency.
Yes. Was participated in the game.
Yeah. Even though they didn't do their thing, I still was able to affect the board state in a way that ended up, not losing immediately to this thing. And as a result, X, Y, and Z happened because of my participation, but my Commander never got played once.
And it was just a different game. It just, my deck had to survive under different circumstances today. And that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about managing expectations because, and starting to think about how we set the bar for what is a good, fun time at Commander. And a lot of this sort of thinking sort of happened after I was listening to, this is the Niall and Jerry T podcast. If you haven't checked it out, they talk a lot about competitive Magic and how to, a lot of the social sides of competitive Magic, which is really interesting.
Both of them are very good players.
Yeah, it's Niall John Rivers, it's Jerry Thompson. It's very fun. You should check it out. I'm going to try and find the exact podcast that they said this, but I haven't been able to find it yet. But they were telling a story about how when you're playing in a tournament and you're losing, you have to be really careful about maintaining your own mindset.
Right.
Because
not going on tilt.
The worse you feel, the worse you play, the more you lose. And you've usually invested a lot in these tournaments. You practice a lot. You've bought all the cards. You've traveled to be there. You're putting yourself up.
Yeah. A lot of money.
So you need to really manage your expectations of these tournaments and try and set goals that are achievable and stay in the moment. So there was this story about how, I believe Niall said it, that she found it more painful when you lose games that you think you've won.
Interesting.
So when you're playing a game and you have the answer and you're like, I'm going to win next turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to win next turn. And you picture it and you're like, I'm going to win next turn. I'm going to move on to the next round. And I've like,
that's
we've done
gonna be
it.
my
I've
day
done
two.
It.
Yeah.
And then
winning in, whatever it is.
And then something happens. Your opponent removes a creature. Your opponent casts a board wipe. Your opponent has the win a turn earlier.
Or you make a mistake.
And you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Your math is wrong. And suddenly you're in this moment where you feel like the win you already had has been ripped from you. And it's so much more painful than losing a game because you've imagined winning.
You are now actually losing something that you thought you had.
You've already claimed the trophy when you haven't actually earned it. And I think that happens a lot in Commander.
Interesting, but it's the thing, not necessarily the win.
Thing. And I feel like when you have it in your hand and your commander's on the board, and if I just untap with my commander, then I'm going to do all these really cool things. And you picture it, because Commander games are long.
Yeah, you have a whole turn cycle to do it.
To sit there and picture all the ways this is going to be awesome.
And we tell people all the time, play out your hand in your head so that you can take your turn when it comes to you.
And it feels like when somebody removes your commander or casts a board wipe, that awesome thing was taken from you.
It's taken from you, that's
and
right.
it's like, you're targeting me unfairly. I haven't even done the thing yet.
Right.
You like I had one. If I only had one more turn.
Yeah, I was gonna do something really cool.
Exactly. So
it happens in our little sketch.
You mourn the thing so much more.
Interesting, because you've taken yourself out of the present moment.
Right.
Because you've to fantasize essentially.
Yes.
About something that has not yet happened, but you believe is going to. And the more you believe it's going to, the more it's going to hurt when it gets ripped away.
And the more you point the finger at your opponent for taking it from you.
Right. I see. Very interesting.
And I think that like in Commander, you have to fight that expectation a lot because you spend so much time thinking about it. It's so much worse than 1v1. You have an eternity to consider the possibilities of how it goes right.
Yeah, I would not even say fight that expectation because now you're putting extra energy into something. I would say let go of the expectation.
Sure.
Because you're holding on to something, or I was holding on to something that I was hoping to happen. And the more I hold on to it, the tighter I grip, the more it hurts when I get it ripped away.
Right.
So if you let go of the expectations, whereas fighting the expectation is like, the expectation is there, I'm going to put energy into it so that it doesn't come back at me. But what you do is you end up feeding the beast.
Sure.
And it may actually turn into something even more hurtful or harder in the future.
Yeah. I mean, you have to assume that your opponents are going to play Magic.
Yeah.
You have to assume that they have some kind of disruption. Maybe they have a board wipe. Maybe they have a removal spell. You have to picture the ways this could go wrong.
Yeah, just imagine Josh Lee Kwai is always at your table.
Yeah.
With 2 blue mana open.
And you're like, he could have a counterspell, he could have a bounce spell. What if he has that?
Yeah.
What if he is this?
Do I need to play around it? Do I need to make a deal to make sure it doesn't happen? Instead of just assuming, I'm just going to flip all my cards on the table and be like, I did it.
I did the thing.
Because someone's going to go, we can't.
Yes.
I can't. Yeah, you can't.
You have to picture how this could go wrong. What if they have the counterspell? What if they have Teferi's Protection? What if I've cast Craterhoof and I attack with everything and somebody casts Teferi's Protection? What do I do then? Do I lose?
Do I lose? Yeah. Did I just tap out? Uh-oh.
And I think it's like sort of the same mindset of like you leave for places, you leave for work like a little bit early in the morning in case there's traffic.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I have to be there at this time. What if like I have to find a place to park and I have to like, what if I run into traffic and I have to be there on time? So you leave a little bit earlier to give yourself a bit of a buffer. And I think that's the mindset that we should really be using when we're playing Commander is like, okay, what buffer can I put in to make sure that, not that this thing happens, but to make sure that I've expected what could happen here and haven't sort of counted my chickens before they hatched.
Yeah. And I think a big part of life accountability in this case is just understanding that a lot of things are beyond your control. And oftentimes the more I try to assert control in my life, the more it just like whiplash. It's like stepping on a shovel or a rake.
Yeah.
The harder you step, the more it's going to thwack you in the face. And so I think in this situation, I think entering into a game for me is going, I expect to be challenged in what I do. I know that the way I build creates board states and situations where people want to stop me from doing the thing.
Yeah.
And as a result, I just am okay with it happening because I know accountability-wise what I am setting myself up for.
Right. And that's like part of the point of this episode is to think about what you're trying to get out of a game. And redefine what makes a game good or valuable or interesting. Because it can't be, everybody contributed to this game equally. Everybody came in equally. There was perfect balance and it all happened
Yeah.
Because it's just so hard.
That's once in a blue moon type scenario. Now I play so that when those do happen, it's like a cherished little moment, and it's like, wow, beautiful.
That was awesome.
Like I would say our game nights for Edge of Eternities was definitely that vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's at the end of the game when someone says, good game, and offers their hand, so often I'm like, good game. Yeah. Good. What does good even mean? Good game. But how do we redefine games so that no matter what does happen, I'm setting my mindset in a way that when I enter the game and exit it, I do get to say good game in a way that is genuine and true.
Yeah. So I think you can start by like going into Commander Night and just being like, okay, what do I want to get out of today? Mm-hmm. Is it one win? Maybe I can communicate that to my opponents. And it's like, today I'm really playing for the win.
Yeah.
And I really want to win with this deck. And I'm going to work really hard to do that.
Yep.
And whether you achieve it or not, at least you know you're working toward one thing.
Yeah. And I know that as a result of saying that too, other people are going to try and stop me from getting it.
Absolutely.
Because they know I'm playing for it.
But maybe it's also like, you know what? I want to learn about how my new deck works. Mm-hmm. And I want to learn some things. So I'm going to really pay attention to like what my mulligans look like, how my early turns played out, what could go wrong. I want to educate myself.
Yeah, I want to get better at sequencing. I want to make sure that I'm using my mana really efficiently. I want to show off my cards. When I tutor with this Urza's whatever.
I got a cool new card and I want to show it.
Yeah, my Esper Sentinel got an upgrade recently.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to get I'm going to get my Codex Shredder.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want to show off the foil version I have.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just like today I'm trying to make friends. Today my goal is to like, I want to sit down and I want to meet somebody that's cool to play against, and I'm going to play decks that like can sort of facilitate that I've got a good conversation about, and I'm going to that is my goal for tonight.
Yeah, I just want to laugh tonight. I want to relax. I want to play in a way that I don't care about doing the thing or winning. I just want to have fun. For a lot of people too, I've heard, I want to see what other players are up to. I want to learn from what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that.
And focus on that thing. It was in the Nile and Jerry podcast where they were talking about like, look, I'm going into a tournament where I have one thing, and it was like, I'm not going to miss any trigger from this card.
Wow.
That's what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
I'm really, really focusing on playing my deck well, and I'm not going to miss triggers. And whether my strategy is right, or if I win the game, that's fine. But like, I'm focused on one thing I'm going to take away from this. And I think those kind of goals and objectives are a lot easier for you to achieve and a lot easier for you to feel better about.
Yeah. I also would say too, when you have more things to redefine what is a good game or a good experience for you, you're not so dependent on the one thing being the only way your cup gets filled.
Yeah, on the outcome of a commander game with 4 players and 100 cards each, it is the highest variance format of Magic.
Yeah.
Intentionally so.
Yeah.
Things are going to go wrong. They'll go wrong in a million ways. It cannot be success in this card game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's like I want to relax, have a laugh, and learn a bit more about my deck, play better, and show off some stuff, now any of those buckets can get filled a little bit, 10%, 20%, 50%, and as a cumulative whole, you could have a good experience.
Yeah.
But when it's all just couched in one thing, I'm putting myself at huge risk for ending in disappointment because of my expectations and not giving myself a wider breadth of options that are actually important to me.
Yeah.
Because I focused maybe too hard on the one thing that I think it should be about. But I'm now learning to change my perspective, back up a little bit, open up more doors of possibility. And as a result, I have more chances to walk through more. I can travel more. I can do more in my sort of mental space to allow myself to have a better time.
I would also say you can't really let go of it completely. Obviously, you want to do what you can, but let balance go.
Yeah.
And don't let balance be the excuse for you having a bad game. Whereas like it was unbalanced, this person played a deck that was too powerful.
Yeah.
Or like I had terrible luck and that blew everything for me.
Yeah. And guess what, kiddo? It's going to happen a lot.
What does your shirt say? That's magic, baby.
That's magic, baby. Yeah, that's Kenji's catchphrase.
Yeah, it's great. That's it.
Yeah.
It's gonna like things are gonna go wrong. There's gonna be a bad matchup. You're going to miss a land drop.
That's life. That's
maybe one of your opponents is going to be a jerk.
Yeah. If I cared so much about my land drops, I would stop playing Magic at this point, you know? Right? I've had so many bad instances of that happening that I've had to just let go of it. Even when I'm fully prepared to build in a way now that avoids it, still happens. It manifests in different ways.
You can still get unlucky.
Yeah.
You can still mill all of your non-creatures and none of your creatures.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not always going to feel completely balanced. And when it does, that's the stars aligning, and you cannot have the expectation that every person at the table knows exactly what they're talking about and has exactly measured their deck correctly, and you're all going to have even luck.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
All right.
You can't rely on that.
Challenge level, very difficult.
Yes.
This is something that I challenge those of you that are out there who are ready for this challenge, which is the challenge of gratitude. This is, I think, a very good way to help fight against a lot of the feel-bads, both in life, but also if we just cash it inside just these Commander Nights and Commander games, which is, can you be grateful for just more in general? Can gratitude be your attitude in general? I'm so grateful I had the opportunity and privilege in my life to show up at this event, play with people I've never met, or with an old friend group that I really love and trust. Can I be grateful for the fact that I have the financial means to invest and play in a game like this? Or that I have the mental capabilities and physical capabilities or acceptance of whatever it is, right? Can I be more grateful in general? And then challenge level, very difficult, is can I be grateful for the times when it sucks? Can Jimmy Wong be grateful for the fact that he's had so many land troubles in his life, even when he's done everything to try and prevent that? Can I be grateful for the fact that I got completely blown out of the water for the 80th time by someone? And if you can find gratitude in those areas, I guarantee you that you will find that this will bleed into other parts of your life, and overall, your wellness will begin to increase. Yeah. That is just a general, I would say, agreed upon philosophy by pretty much every monk in the world and anyone that's done sort of advanced spiritual or religious practice, which is like gratitude can truly transform the way that your lens upon the world is basically affecting your inner world. So I would say that's a challenge for people that are ready for it. If you're like, Jimmy, that is a crock of whatever, great. That's awesome too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's up to you how you approach your world. And this is just, for me, something that's helped quite a bit.
Before we go, I want to say one more thing. Because I was talking to AD about this, where Magic is so big and so deep and so wide that it can feel like it can be everything to you. That it can be your hobby, it can be your social life, it can be your it can feel, especially us, it's our job. It's how I met my partner. It's my friends. Like, Magic feels big enough that it can hold your whole life in it. And
it can be a massive, overwhelming part of your identity. Yeah, absolutely.
And it can't be. It absolutely cannot be your entire world, because you start putting too much stake in how you do in this card game.
Yeah.
You start to feel less smart because it's not performing. You start to feel less creative, less interesting because your deck didn't work. You're like, I put so much into this game and I just keep having terrible games. It's like, it doesn't give me anything back.
Yeah, I keep getting mana screwed. How dare this game? How dare randomness do this to me?
And you're like, well, maybe it would be helpful for you to have other tentpoles to lean on. To have something else in your life that makes you feel smart, that makes you feel like you have a community, that makes you feel like socially involved. You have friends that don't play Magic.
Yeah, this could be a good wake-up call for that, right? And I do agree, especially as I recently have had some moments where I've delved a little too far into making this be the everything, and it's hurt. And it's been like, okay, don't forget you have a child, you know? You have other things in your life, the gratitude thing, right?
Yeah, just making sure that like you haven't put too much of your own self-worth into a card game.
Yeah.
It feels big enough to do that, but I would say it can't give you that much back.
Yeah. And I think it's also a great process in self-awareness and consciousness to understand why you got to a place where you have initially put in a lot of your self-worth into this thing. And as a result of that awareness, I think that also helps you expand to the point where it's like, okay, I get why the young, impressionable, wanting validation version of me really got into this those first times I went to the game store and really looked up to these players, etc. And it's another part of me that I can, now that maybe I've nurtured that part enough, I can begin to let go a little bit and find another area. and expand it out. In the same way that I said, right, you can have multiple things that are going to fill your bucket at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Magic can be one bucket out of many as well.
Yeah.
And so that's a great, again, another challenge and another fun game in just self-awareness. And I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. So
We all
if you
are.
figure out how to do it, let me know.
I'm still podcasting about it 10 years later.
Yeah,
so.
right? All right. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. But at the end of the day, Magic doesn't suck. Commander doesn't suck. It's really fun. And it's a great way to spend time with your friends. And it's a great creative outlet when you don't feel like you can put it anywhere else.
The best game in the world, everyone.
It really is. But sometimes it can feel like it sucks. And then you're like, why do I think this great thing sucks? There's something wrong with me.
Yeah. To the listeners, how do you enjoy your Commander night? How do you make sure it doesn't suck? What are some steps or maybe evolution that you've had in your relationship to the game that has helped you out over the course of time? Do you have any wise, sage words for other viewers and listeners that are looking to the comments to hopefully find something in there that will help them on their journey as well? We're all just walking each other home, one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah. And if you want to pick up some Magic cards to fill the hole in your heart, as I do every day, go to cardkingdom.com/command. Ooh, shiny. Card Kingdom has
showcase.
a huge selection of cards. If you're like me and this is how you express your creativity and you want to just make something that's cool and different and show it to your friends, Card Kingdom has a huge selection of those cards all in one place. You can get them, put them in one package, get them sleeved up, and start playing at your next game night. Hopefully you have a ton of fun at that game night. Magic can be so fun if you don't let it consume you.
Booyaka.
And you're supporting the show and hopefully more episodes like this one if you go to cardkingdom.com.
That's right. We love to do episodes that aren't just about the new set or the new cards. So your support matters as well. Going to ultrapro.com/command to get all of your card sleeving accessories, your playmats, your deck boxes, your posters, whatever it is, card sorting trays. Ultra Pro has the brand new stuff as well as the Apex sleeves for every single set, the official art from Magic. They've got the coolest looking stuff. They've been in the business for the longest. They know what they're doing. They know how they're making it. So check out ultrapro.com/command for that high quality gear.
And before we go, we've got to say thank you. We've got to express gratitude for our amazing team here at the Command
That's right.
Zone. Thank you to Sebastian Salazar, Karina Cruz, Gaurav Galati, Jamie Block, Jordan Pridge and Jake Boss, Becky Bell, Rachel Kendra, Eric Lem, Manson Lung, Josh Murphy, Evan Limburger, Sam Waldo, and of course,
Josh Lee Kwai.
See you next time.
See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.